Is Canada really one of the worst places in the world to live? If you have to ask this question, then you haven't been to very many places outside of Canada. Canada is nowhere near the worst places that you could be living right now. It's not perfect, but then there is no country that is, and if you went to any country that you considered better, I bet you would find similar complaints from the people that lived there. Lol, highly doubt it. I can think of at least a good 100 countries that I find worse than Canada. Anybody that claims that Canada is one of the worst places in the world has probably never traveled outside of Canada. That's an insanely sheltered and naive viewpoint. I'd imagine the people of Syria or Afghanistan would beg to differ. Canada is one of the worst places in the world to live. Except for all the other places. Nowhere is perfect, just less terrible. Canada is one of the least terrible places to live. Canada is a great place compared to the other places I've lived in. People say this are so privileged they have no idea. They really have no idea what kind of blessing they have. There are 195 countries in the world, and I'd wager that Canada is probably in the top 10, and almost certainly the top 20 by any measurement. People who claim it's the worst place in the world have never traveled anywhere. Ask those people to name 20 countries where they would rather live, and I bet they could not name 20 of them. LMAO, whoever said that has no clue how bad a country can get. One should take a trip to the likes of Haiti if they really want to see a poor quality of living. Depends what you value. Cons: things are more expensive here, and we pay high taxes, really cold winters. Unless you live in Vancouver, healthcare is free, but tough time finding family doctors. Especially in Ontario, not as many fun cities as the states. Intercountry travel is expensive. Our phone bills are one of the highest internationally. Housing is expensive unless you go to much smaller towns. Pros: high level of safety and comfort. Suburban dream. Liberal and welcoming country. Most people are friendly. Almost no gun violence. Free healthcare. Canadian passport is stronger and more valuable than you think. Once you start traveling a lot, you see the power it holds. University and college fees are much less than the States, and our degrees are highly respected internationally. Less racism, more equal opportunities. The people who wish they had Canada's healthcare are the people pulling down less than 6 figures, who thus cannot afford American healthcare. The actual care that exists is typically good, and sometimes great, but it's behind several rather high paywalls. Between insurance premiums, deductibles, copays, prescription costs, coverage limits, etc. Stop listening to whoever told you that. As an American, I've only ever heard that Canada is a much better place to live. I'm young and don't know much about healthcare, but from what I think I know, in America, healthcare is not free. You have to pay for it. But because not everyone can afford to simply walk in to have every little thing checked, you are helped much faster and thoroughly. Whereas in Canada, I hear because of the free healthcare, there is an abundance of people constantly getting checked for every little thing. So it takes much longer to be able to see a doctor, and they are much less through because they don't have as much time to spend on each person that comes in. As far as the price thing, things are more expensive because of the free healthcare. I'm pretty sure overall taxes are higher by you to accommodate it. So that explains that. I could be completely wrong in all of that, but that's my understanding of things. I've lived in the US and Canada. Canada is preferable. Having visited near the Canadian border in the summertime, my only concern is how cold it is. Other than that, seems like a delightful place. In fact, I work with a few Ukrainians that are more than happy to be here at the moment. Only bad thing I can think of when it comes to living in Canada is housing. From what I've been told by buddies who live in Canada, getting a house there is nearly impossible. And renting ain't that much better either. But it definitely isn't one of the worst places in the world to live, in my opinion. Grass greener. As a Canadian and a Nova Scotia, I'm glad to be both! Exclamation mark. The people who say Canada is bad are either USA-based right-wing propagandists or rich people in Canada who pine for American-style dark money politics and wish they could buy their way into the front of the medical line. Of course not. Canada is one of the best countries in the world to live in. You're very fortunate.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. TooAfraidToAsk is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.